Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Ndung'u. It is always a pleasure to have you. If you are a returning subscriber, I love you, I appreciate God for you, and I thank you. If it is your very first time to be here, feel at home. We love visitors. We are all about motivation, personal growth, and relationships. So today we are talking about how to build trust in your relationships. I know that sometimes the relationship can be broken, that sometimes people can just have miscommunication and all this, and they affect your trust in the relationship. And we are talking about how and strategies and maybe ways we can use to build and to mend this trust. So welcome to this particular segment. I'm sure it will be a very instrumental I'm sure it will be a very educative segment for you, so enjoy. Welcome. So the first thing that we really need to invest in, even when our relationship are suffering trust issues, is communication. Most of us, the main reason in the first place we have issues in our trust, the first thing that we need to work on is communication. Most of us are having trust issues in our relationship because we do not communicate. And when you're communicating, you withhold information. So make sure that your communication is honest, is clear, and that whatever is happening is communicated. If, for example, an ex of yours from nowhere just ups and just calls you or texts you, do not be so quick to delete the messages, because sometimes I notice that when you delete and maybe they respond, and maybe they're highlighting the message you sent, as much as maybe it was not a bad message, and then maybe, for example, that is the time your spouse had your phone and they're wondering, where is this message? It was deleted, but you see from their end they have highlighted it and they responded according to that message. So of course you're already showing trust issues, because there is something that you're hiding. Why did you delete the messages in the first place? I would rather you came clear, told me, you know what, they texted from nowhere, even if they called you sweet nothings, and because they were used to calling you that, maybe they have an issue with letting go. So of course, when you're talking about it with your spouse, it is easier to deal with it from that point than even from the point of where you are withholding information and you're hiding it, because you will already bring up issues of trust. So of course, communicate. If you met someone and they gave you your number and maybe you saved them funny, and somehow and whatever you saved them, or it's someone from your past and they come up, make sure that you actually communicate, so that some of these things do not come and just break the trust that you already have. And the other thing is, make sure that your communication is clear. Your communication receives the desired response, meaning that the communication was received and understood. That is also very important. The other thing is, keep your promises. Make sure you follow through, okay? Some of you are promising heaven. You're very good at telling us, you know what, I will give you the world, I will offer you silver and gold. And sometimes when you are giving these promises, you don't follow through. And I would tell this for someone who is dating, especially if you want to build trust in your relationship. I will use this example. So when you are wooing this woman, you promise that, you know what, I will marry you in the next year, maybe by December, and maybe it's January, and that is the time the woman really decides, you know what, let's go exclusive, because you're offering me what I wanted, and you have already told this person, you know what, I will marry you. But then come towards maybe mid of the year, and you look at your finances and you're like, you know what, I don't think I can actually actualize this dream. Instead of keeping quiet, I would rather you sit this person down and explain to them, I had promise that we will do maybe the wedding in December, but the way things are going, especially if I'm the only one that is bringing in money, I need to postpone these dates, because if I don't do that, then we will have an issue when we start to plan for our wedding. There are things that maybe we have not achieved for us to get there. I do not have enough money to come and to go and pay your dowry. I do not have enough money to also do the wedding, because of course it is expensive. Maybe there's whatever you have planned for yourself. So of course, sit this person down, whatever promise it is, and it looks like right now, according to the way you've analyzed your situations, it is impossible. You had promised that you will put up a business for the lady, and maybe things are not working out, your finances are not coming through as you expected. Sit them down, tell them, because this is the reason why I'm not following through. And if there's another options that you have as my spouse, what can you offer as a solution? Is there anything that we can do before I decide all together that we are not doing this? Can you chip in? Can you do something? What are you bringing also? So that we look at these things. Okay, yes, I'm the one who made the promise, and as I am looking at it, my finances cannot cater it. Can you come in and support me as my spouse? If they can't, then again, now all of you together, you push it. So make sure you keep your promises, and why you cannot, please sit down, explain to this person why are you not following through, so that they can be in the know. Because when you don't keep your promises, I promise you, this person will always know that you're not trustworthy, and they will not trust you. Even when you're engaging them, even when you're promising them heaven on earth, and you're not really fulfilling, then of course they will not trust you, and they will not believe you even when you promise to do something for them. So please make sure you follow through. The other thing is, be reliable. When you're saying you're going to show up on that time. Show up also on time and be consistent. I have already said this before, that the minute you say that you will be there, be reliable. Let me know that irrespective of what happens, this person is reliable. When I have a challenge and I talk to my person about something, they are reliable. They will be there. They will come through for me. And when they can't, they actually communicate in advance, because they have challenges here and there and they cannot. So I will not peg my trust 100% on them because they cannot do it for me. But I trust the fact that when I share something with them, they are reliable enough to show up and to show on time. But when you are not reliable, when you don't come through, when you are not on time, when you're not consistent, someone will not even be reliable, will not trust you to be reliable. They will not give you their trust, because they know, this person is just there. They are not trustworthy. They are not reliable. And when they find someone who is reliable instead of you, imagine they will replace you. And that is how people lose husbands and lose wives, because someone just hijacked you, because them they were acting more reliable than you. So of course, be on time, show up, and remember to be consistent. The other thing is, be honest. We have talked about communication as our first point, but honesty is also important even in the communication. I know sometimes we might want to withhold information for the sake of the peace maybe in the house, but also for the sanity of the person that you're dating. You're like, if I tell this person what happened, maybe they will just flip and they will overreact and they will do this. But I prefer honesty. It is hard to tell the truth. It is hard sometimes to receive the truth, especially when you're being told things that you are like, hey, all your eyes are like, what? You're not even believing what happened. But sometimes the truth is actually, that honesty is important, because it causes the two of you to be trustworthy. I will come and I'll be like, what, babe, when you are away, I met my ex and we went on a date, and something happened. Maybe we started kissing, and then I withdrew and I ran and I went home. Nothing went on past that, because I know I love you. I am loyal to you. I want to be exclusive, but because of the chemistry that we share with this person, and because I had not really overcome the fact that we are done with the person, and of course the environment also brought up emotions that were not supposed to be brought up, and the environment was conducive for my ex and I for something to happen, but it didn't go all the way. And I am telling you, because I feel, one, I am ashamed. I am sorry that I messed up. I am also in that space where I wouldn't want this information to come to you from either that person, because they might convey it differently. And I choose to tell you as much as you are not there, because I want you to trust me. I want you to trust me that when I go out there, I am being faithful to you. And that is some of the things that actually build trust in your relationship. You guys are not honest. You don't say the truth. I remember one time when we were walking somewhere around our home outside with my husband, He would meet someone that is looking really nice, and he's tempted to look even like follow them, but because we're working together with him, he doesn't even want to admit. And it's true that someone is looking nice and they are beautiful, and he wouldn't want to admit because he feels like he will hurt my feelings when he says someone else is beautiful. But the honest truth is that person is looking nice. So when you're trying to act like they're not beautiful, and you're not seeing that they're beautiful, and we are just walking and you're passing, you're just acting like I didn't even see, you're lying. And I can know that you're lying, but I trust your answers, I trust your words when you're truthful, when you say, by the way, that lady is nice, she looks nice, she's dressed well, she's beautiful. But you see, just because you've admitted someone is looking nice and they're beautiful does not mean that you will leave me, or you will cheat on me, or you will do something that I don't agree with. It's just that you are honest, and the honesty is the lady is looking nice. So it's okay even sometimes when you do that, but it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with even you, the person that you're dating. The honest truth is that she looks nice, so we are passing, we are looking. Even me, I pass and I look and I'm like, yeah, she looks nice, you know. And there are those moments. So I don't get why sometimes we don't want to be honest with such things. Be honest even to the point of telling your spouse, unajua nini, I love you, but the truth is umejiachilia. When we got married, you were doing ABCD, you're looking nice, you're forever looking nice. And I remember one time, I was just seated at home. I was not going anywhere. I didn't have a shoot. At the time I was pregnant, I think, so I was just at home doing nothing, just resting, of course, and eating and enjoying myself and watching movies. And my husband came to check up on me during the day, and I had not showered. I had not come out of bed. I was just like, it's those lazy days, you know. I was just there. I had not done anything. The house was a mess. The way he left it when he went, you know. And that particular morning, I remember I had not even cooked for him breakfast. So I think he was coming not just to check on me alone, but also for him, so that he can get something to eat and maybe see if I had cooked lunch or there's something for him to take. So he came, found me still in bed. At the time, because of course of the pregnancy, you sweat a lot, you're always hot, so I was smelling nini, you know. I was looking the way I wanted, you know. And I remember he just like, hey babe, that is not you. That is not the person I fell in love with. You're not that kind of person. You're not the person that just stays like that, you know, the house looking the way it's looking. And you see, sometimes when you're told that, you might tend to be upset. You're like, Kwani, you can't see that I'm resting? And then it doesn't happen all the time. But I love the fact that there's that honesty where he can actually come in that place and say, you know what, this is not the way I'm used to you. You're a bit organized than this. And as much as maybe you would be in bed, you would maybe wake up clean and then now go back to bed, you know. That is not the Marion I know. And it helped me. I was like, I loved that honesty, because it makes me trust his words when he says that, Marion, you're actually hardworking. Marion, you're clean than the way I see this, because this is not who you are. And I will trust him because he's telling me the truth, which is honesty, and I value it. And sometimes honesty can be very harsh, it can be painful for some people, but truth is truth. So receive it the way it is, but also even you that is telling the truth, be mindful of how you present it so that you don't hurt your other person's feeling. So when they are receiving the truth and that honesty, they are not receiving it with bitterness or with hatred. They receive it positively, and it becomes instrumental even to help them and to build a trust in the relationship, instead of bringing conflict, which we are trying to avoid for this matter. The other thing is respecting each other's boundaries. If your significant person has set boundaries for whatever reason, sometimes even those boundaries do not make sense. Like, why are you saying that we should not do this and this and the other? We are together. Maybe still they are not they have not welcomed the idea of oneness. They are yet still dealing with the fact that, you know what, we are married and we need to be one, and everything is, there's nothing like your space my space. No, right now we are here, hakuna cha it is my time, I need nini. No, it is together, working together, building together. But before they get used to that, if they have set boundaries, please respect the boundaries. You might not agree with them, but respect them. For that reason, because it will build the trust that it needs. It's like, you know what, I have decided that I don't like ABCD. Yeah, just leave it. There's something that our pastor said that is very instrumental. Whatever matters to him matters to me. Whatever matters to me matters to him. And when it's that way, it's like, you know what, it is your boundary. It doesn't make sense to me, but as long as it matters to you, then it should matter to me. And that is very important, because it helps that trust to grow and to develop and to become better, which we also need. So respect those boundaries. You can work on them pole pole, but again, respect them in the meantime. While you're breaking and just sinking and merging and becoming one, as you are learning, relearning and unlearning, in the meantime, respect the boundaries. Okay, good. The other thing is to show empathy. Empathy is just to try and understand the other person's feelings and perspective. It doesn't make sense to you, the same way we have talked about boundaries. You don't understand why they are saying no here, but try and understand them. Be empathetic, understand their feelings. They have communicated, they have been very honest with their communication, telling you, you know what, I don't like this, I hate this, I hate the other. And as much as some of these things do not make sense to you and you don't agree with them, because maybe you're a different person altogether, respect and empathize with your significant other, because it helps also to build trust. You see, when you're empathetic, it also shows that, you know what, I can come and be vulnerable to you, which is also our next point. Okay, because unless I know that you're empathetic, I will not share with you my vulnerabilities, because all I know is that you will use them to come against me, which I don't want. So the other thing is also be vulnerable. Allow the other person to express their fears, their dreams, their hopes with you. And that is how vulnerability works. Yeah, you have to be vulnerable to each other. It helps to build trust. When I come and share my fears, I trust you to take care and to protect what I fear. I expect you to trust and to take care of my hopes, whatever. It helps to know that, you know what, I can trust you for me to tell you my dreams, because you will help me to nurture myself, to groom myself, to grow myself, so that I can be able to achieve whatever it is that I need to achieve. So of course you need to be vulnerable with one another, to express some of these things, so that you can work towards overcoming, maybe if it's the fears, to overcome them, if it is the dreams, how to achieve them, and all these things, and hopes and aspirations, so that you can grow each other and groom each other and just encourage each other and support each other to achieve whatever it is that you guys dream and actualize. The other thing is apologize when necessary. A lot of us, sometimes we just don't like apologizing. You don't want to feel like the lesser person, and the bigger person is the one that apologizes, by the way, because you know what, I prefer peace over violence. You know what, even if it is not my fault, say sorry. And me, I am not the type that apologizes often, but I am learning. Sometimes you just avoid the conflict altogether. You know, you save yourself the trouble of speaking badly, you save yourself the trouble of receiving negative words that maybe the other person in anger will say, that will affect you, and maybe affect your whole day, or affect your whole year, your whole entire year. So sometimes you just apologize, even if it is not your fault. Say sorry when necessary, apologize. When you have made a mistake and you know, enyewe hapa nimekukosea, I am so sorry that I actually hurt you, I am so sorry that I did not prioritize you, I am sorry that I did not consider you, I am sorry I did 1, 2, 3 things that are against you, whatever, that are against your principles. I am sorry that I have spoken in a manner that does not encourage you, in a manner that demeans you, and all these things. Apologize. It will not kill you. All it will do is that it will enhance your trust for each other, because I trust you. I know that when you make mistakes, you know what, you're a bigger person. I know that you can do what? You can apologize. The other thing, as much as you're apologizing, be forgiving. It is important to forgive. Then that makes apologizing even easier, because you know what, when you come to me and tell me I messed up, then it is easy for my spouse to forgive me. You do not keep a record of wrongs. The Bible says that love covers a multitude of sin, and it is because you're also in that place of forgiving now and then, and you do not keep a record of wrong. When I do something wrong against you in January, please don't remind me in December, especially if I have apologized. Women, we tend sana to withhold grudges. You're like, you know what, you did this last time, I forgave you, then now you have done it again, I've forgiven you. I forgave you 3 times in January. I have forgiven you 7 times about the same thing in March. I forgave you 9 times about the same thing in April. I forgave you 17 times about that same thing in October, and then you're repeating the same mistake in December. No, I am tired, I cannot do this, I cannot forgive you. You're keeping a record of the many times you've forgiven them, the many times they have repeated the mistake. My goodness. And you, when you do something wrong, you want to be forgiven. So for you to be forgiven, accept apologies so that you can also be forgiven. Because remember, no man is perfect. There's somewhere where you're also doing things wrong. As much as you think that you're perfect, there's what you're doing that is not right according to your spouse. So you also need to be in that place of accepting apology, because even you're messing in one way or the other. And I want to say something about apologizing and making mistakes. A lot of us in marriages and in relationships, we think that the biggest mistake or the only mistake that people make in marriages is promiscuity, is when you're having sex or you're cheating or you're having an affair with someone else outside your relationship. But there are many other faults and other things that we are doing against each other that are not building the other, that are things that need to be asked for forgiveness for and from. You can be doing something that is bad in terms of respect. You're not respectful, and it is a bad thing, and maybe it is worse than even someone who is going out there to cheat, because you're just doing it in a bad way, and you're making this person feel really disrespected, maybe in public, and it's a bad thing. So you also are doing something wrong. It doesn't mean that the only thing that we need to be asking forgiveness from is when you're texting someone else, when you're flirting with someone else, because we always tend to think that the only things that we need to ask forgiveness from is when someone is doing something bad that is sexually related. It can also be in other things. It can be you are actually asking for forgiveness because you did not follow through with what you maybe said or you promised that you will do. You can apologize for something like that, and it is something serious because you hurt someone's feelings and you caused them to build a hope and a dream towards something that you did not fulfill. So of course there are other things that really hurt a person apart from just promiscuity. So don't always think that, I'm a perfect spouse because I can never cheat. I am faithful. I don't cheat. It is far beyond that, okay? The other thing is spend quality time together. When you spend time together, that is just self-explanatory. You get to know the other person, you get to understand them, and it's easier for you to build trust because, of course, when I know you, I know how to treat you. I know how to be reliable depending on what you need. I know how to be present. I know how to empathize with you because the more I know you, I understand you. I get to know how you react. I get to see your perspective. All these things that we have talked about, I know your boundaries and I get to respect them, of course, because we are spending time together. So spending time together just covers a whole list because, of course, you get to know this person better, and the more you know them better, of course, you know how to treat them, and then again the trust is built. The other way of being trustworthy and just building trust is being faithful. We have talked about faithfulness in so many other ways, and it's not just the only thing. The same thing I'm talking about asking for forgiveness. You are not only being faithful faithful in terms of just making sure that you're dating this person alone. Faithfulness comes in a lot of it is all rounded in terms of you being reliable and making sure that you're faithful with promises that you made. Are you keeping them? Faithfulness in terms of me, I am faithfully submitted to you, I am faithfully dating you, I am faithfully seeing you and I'm not seeing anyone else, I am faithfully committed to this relationship to make sure that it works. Faithfully make sure that you're faithful, because it also builds trust in your relationship. So I know that things that we have shared about are helpful to you, and they will be helpful. If you like some of the I know that whatever we have talked about is I'm sure what we have talked about is helpful to you, and it will help you to build trust in your relationship, to restore what maybe has been lost, and also to enhance the kind of trust that you have and take it to the next level. This has been instrumental, this has been helpful, it has been educative to you, and you would like to share with your friends. Kindly share, kindly help me to share and just educate other people about how they can build trust in their relationships, and I'm sure that our relationships are going to the next level. Thank you so much for getting to this particular point of the video. Do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to leave a comment and tell us how trust is working out for you, and maybe the things that you have learned even that are helping you to improve trust in your relationships that maybe we have not touched on, or if there's any particular point that we have talked about that has been very helpful for you in your relationship, so that we can keep on learning and just helping each other and improving each other even as we grow and as we learn how to trust each other in our relationships. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for always being here. I appreciate you. I thank God for you, and I am praying that your marriages and your relationships grow to the next level, even as you build trust for each other and towards one another. Thank you, and see you on the next vlog. Bye bye.